Hey all. As we're easing back into this, how about we do Lonely as the Night. Great riff, you gotta be able to play that. So let's start it. Billy Squier was, say what you will about him, but he's a decent guitar player. In fact, I think he's really good. I like his playing, and wrote some great riffs, and this is one of them. So it starts on this thing, it's in E. E, regular E. And you do this little lick. Let's just start with that. Take the G, that 2, and slide up to 4. Then you do the B and E open. Right. So then almost a Zeppelin sort of riff. That's 2-1. That ends on a D string. 2-1, 1-2 on the G, and then ends on a D string at 2. Then a low E. Second one just goes 2-1 and ends on 2 on the G. So the third one, just like the first one, except that's the extra part. 2-4 on A up to a D string at 2. And it ends with on 4-5 on A to an open D string. And then 4-2 A, and then right. So just ends on an E5. And then you get into the riff. So that's E. Just take out the bar, so they're all barred at 7. And you'll notice it's different from the intro part than it is during the verses. This one is really quick down. And then A. And that same suspension we do all the time, 1 up on B, 2 up on D. This is the low. When is the and then so when it comes into the verse, the drums come in and everything, then it changes to a little bit different. It holds it. It does a really slow slide down. It doesn't do the... Listen for yourself, because on some of those, I think it's every other one, it does... I think it does on the second one through, and then not on the third one. So it does however many of those for the verse. Now one thing, when you watch the live versions, and I watched a few live versions mainly from the early 80s, so I don't know what he's doing these days. Instead of, he just parks down here. He does it down there. While while the other guy is doing it. But Billy's just doing on some of them. Again, I couldn't find, when I watched the live versions, I couldn't find any pattern to when he does this or when he does that. There's different ways he does it in different live recordings. He just does an E here, E5. But he's on the D at 2 and the G at 4. He just takes his finger off, so the D string's open. Oh, sorry. Now for this part, if you watch people teaching it and playing it on YouTube, a lot of people do this different ways. But this is what I'm hearing. So B. It sounds like... So that second one is A, D, and G at 2, and B and E open. Oh, your low E's open too. So low E open, A, D, G at 2, and B and E open. So it's like an E suspend. If you want to do the bar across, you could just do all three 7 fingers. Take an E and suspend it up. That's what you got. Then the second one is an E or an E5. Right, the second part is. That one is D. That's just A and B at 3. To G. Or actually on the second time too. Then the second verse comes in, you know, like that. But after the second verse comes through, and you go and do the... Somebody's watching you, baby. Right, that one. And you're just on an E, E5. You can do E5 with the B and E open here. Or just do an E without barring the whole thing. So then it gets into where the guitar solo's coming in. You could just solo an E, you know, do minor pentatonic if you want, but we're not going to do that part. We're going to do what's underneath it, right? Just a regular guitar part. So it sounds to me like... So he's going between E and A. Well, not that thing. He just sort of holds the rhythm part. Sort of holds underneath. And then it goes D A. Goes through a few of those, and then it comes back to. You know that now that little riff in between there, which you hear on the studio one. I watched a half a dozen live ones. He never did it, so he would just do it. You know, he'd do a pick slide or something, but he never did the little lick. You know, Different ways to finger it. You could do G and E, 4, 2, do like an E. G at 1, high E open. Or you could do, sounds more like this. Actually play an E up here, like your F shape, all the way up to 12. So E, D, to an E. G, B, D, G, and B at 9. Or just do part of it. Do the G and B strings of it, or do the D and G strings. I think it's all three. Whoops. Man, I really got to get my arm strength back up after the surgery. This is painful. So that's about it, I think, and it just goes out on. Kind of rocks up that main riff and rides it all the way out to the end. But you know, on the list of guitar tunes that, as a rock player, you probably all know, as a blues rock player, this is probably on there, because at some point at a party or a bar gig or something, someone's gonna want it. Or, I mean, if you were at just rehearsing with your buddies and just start this and everybody will fall in line. Good luck.